People dancing, numa numa, eh.
I'm sure we'll have a nice short podcast now.
Yeah.
Oh, also, we're gonna cut that part out and make it its own video.
Okay.
I'll have Alex, if you want, I have those 3 charts that I was talking about when we talked about storage shit.
There are 4 charts.
There are 4 charts.
3.
Great. Thanks, Josh. Now I have that song stuck in my head again.
You're welcome. I'm here for you. 100%. Alex dancing, numa numa, eh.
He's not dancing. He's rifling through the bourbon. Are we streaming now?
We are.
Oh, okay. I should pull up a chat.
You should.
And go to irc.pcper.com though.
Yeah, I probably should call him in.
Never just find a Canadian.
Just leave him hanging.
We're live.
Oh, we're live?
We are live.
We're doing a live.
So excited. So excited.
I'm changing.
Did you have fun talking about secrets?
Okay. Well, or what you talked about, but
just don't mention anything you shouldn't
don't.
What are we talking about?
Nothing, it's a secret.
Fuck.
It's a secret. It's
Maybe
a
a
race.
secret. and
Nobody
plain
knows.
Gotta put some bourbon.
bourbon.
Yeah, that could be problematic.
Oh.
Look at the alcoholics. Well, you know.
Look at all that.
That's not very nice. It's not very Christian of him.
Been here for 13
Not
hours
inaccurate,
already.
but-
Shut up.
Yeah.
I can have a drink.
Pat wants us to pour out some shots.
Nah.
The chat. No, but you thought it. Not pour out. Not like pour one out.
That's what you said.
No, pour out some shot. Well, I know.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Hmm?
Sorry. They just said pour some shots.
Pour some
That's
bourbon on
incorrect.
me.
That's fine.
Oh,
When
we
you
do have
need
shot
me
glasses?
love.
Oh, well.
Oh, great. Here he
I
goes.
was not aware.
Ooh,
Yeah,
what
to the
kind is
bottom
that?
at some
Is that
point.
the? Oh, it's the whiskey, Wyoming whiskey. The double cask.
Josh was
In a
can't
nice
tell you
big
what you're
mug.
drinking, but he figured it out.
Well, now you just look like a hoodie.
In Grand Theft Auto in real life over there? What are you doing?
No, I have to put the hood up, otherwise the cable for my...
What?
What?
Don't show my computer yet. Oh, that'd be bad.
But I can see your computer in this shot right now.
You can see my kitty in this shot.
That's wrong.
Hiding
Oh,
Ryan's
kitty.
computer.
Kitty.
Kitty.
He looks like-
Hi, everybody.
He's like, what the hell are you doing to me?
Come on.
Is that you?
Come on.
Human, I'm
She's looking at
tolerating you.
herself.
That Kit Kat doesn't know what the fuck's going on.
I am about to kick your ass, but I'm tolerating you for the moment.
Why
do you
do you do this to me?
So glad everybody buys cats.
Buys?
Yeah, some people buy cats.
Well, I have not
I didn't
bought-
buy that cat.
Not buy cats.
You don't buy cats.
No, the cat buys you.
Yeah,
You want to buy
You
a
don't have
cat?
to pay for adoption fees. and
I'll
stuff?
sell you a cat.
that's if you get
One
him from
cat plus
pound.
2 cat equals a
So
dozen
you
cats.
only get cats when they walk up to you.
No, that was I've done that in the past, but not my current ones.
You stole somebody's cat, is what you're telling me.
No. Somebody came over to our house with a cat and said, "This is,
Turns out cats are dumb. You
this
want a
is too-
cat?
This is our dogs want to eat this cat."
Oh, well, yeah, that would do
And
it.
it was like a little kitten at the time, and we're like, okay.
Or you're like, okay, just eat the cat.
No.
Okay, let it
We will-
happen.
Okay, bring it back home. We'll watch.
Okay, we'll eat it for
Make sure you
you.
take a video.
Want to take a video of your dog eating the cat?
Well, I mean,
Man,
Well, it's
Alan.
on Cujo, so why not?
All right, everybody here?
Are those new WD Blacks are in stock? I guess they are. Not too shabby.
Yep. Whatever
right, you
Josh
ready?
says.
Oh, let me send
I
out.
say a
let me
lot
send
of
out a
things.
tweeter.
Probably not accurate.
Let's send a tweet out 12 minutes after 10.
Well,
Says we are
we're
live
just starting
right now. Join us.
Someone should make a bot that pulls whenever Ryan tweets the podcast and compares it to the start time. How late we are on average. Well, man, it's probably pretty good.
What, just have it automatically post SAS?
What else would you do on
All
Twitter?
right, boys.
Have intelligent discussions with people of your peers.
You obviously
Hell
don't use
no.
Twitter.
You're using it wrong.
Okay, we good?
You're saying it's I'm using it right if it
Nobody
makes
answered
me
my
angry?
question.
Yes, we are
Yes.
ready.
Nobody's
All right.
good.
That's the way I understand it, anyways.
We're all bad.
All right, here we go. 3, 2. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the PC Perspective Podcast. This is episode 496, being recorded on April 18th, 2018, the day after tax day. I'm Ryan Shrout.
No, that's wrong.
I'm Jeremy Hellstrom, and your tax day got extended because
Yeah.
your servers went, what?
Tax day's today.
Yeah, and I'm Josh Walrath, and I corrected, well, only Ryan, which is normal.
And I'm Alan Mamontano.
I paid my taxes a day early. Is that what you're telling me?
I wanted to pay my taxes
Well,
and then couldn't because their
paid
website was
mine-
down.
I paid mine the old-fashioned way by sending in a check.
Oh, well then you're fine.
Did you write it in your own blood?
Oh, yeah. I wrote it in somebody else's blood.
They,
Don't
they,
tell
they just
anyone.
withdraw the blood. You know,
Mm.
it's an automatic thing.
Welcome to the show, guys. I want everybody to know that we've got 7, 8. No, we've only got 4 episodes until 500. So somebody better come up with a good idea.
Nah.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
the one
I got a
before
good
You know
that,
what we
idea.
need is we need a 500th episode anniversary shirt.
the one before that, Josh needs to do the intro.
It's the number
Because-
500 with a birthday hat on it. There you go, done.
Easy.
This is why we don't
Uh,
let Ryan in charge of these things.
We need to let Josh do the $4.99 one though.
Oh yeah, he has
Just-
to do the 499 intro. Yeah,
just
yeah,
because
I got it.
because
I got it.
$4.99.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show, guys. We do record on Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific at pcper.com/live. This is our very special episode where we have world exclusive information to share with you about Josh Tech. And it's
Yeah,
gonna be,
buddy.
It's going to be amazing. If you want a general reminder about our live streams, you can go to pcper.com/subscribe right now. And you'll get this page here. Ask for your name, ask for your email address, and we'll send you an email when we're going to do a live stream. So that can be handy for you. So please do that. We also have our Patreon campaign running. That is at patreon.com/PCPer. This is your way to become a monthly contributor to the website. It could be for $1, $3, $5, $10, whatever you want. We absolutely love everybody who does this. It goes directly to us. It supports us, allows us to do the cool things that we do, mailbag, etc. And as always is the case, if you become a new patron during the live stream or increase your patronage during the live stream, I will read out your name on the show, regardless of how obnoxious or funny or dumb it might be. I don't know, one of those things. So again, patreon.com/PCPer. Before we move on, we have 2 new patrons from Java and the Beanstalk who just pledged $3. Thank you very much, Java.
I can't keep up with these new web development tools.
And Fill Me Up Josh just pledged $5.45.
Ooh.
Phil, PHIL,
Oh.
Me Up, MEEYUP hyphen Josh. It's their maiden name.
Cream of some young guy.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's just what happens. Again, I mentioned the mailbags. These are the mailbags where we answer questions. Apparently, I have the link in here for the last week's episode because the previous week's. But Josh didn't do this week's. I did this week's, and I don't know who's going to do tomorrow's, but it's probably going to be me because I haven't scheduled anybody else to do it. But we sit here and sit in front of our computers and answer your submitted questions for about 20 minutes or so. You can leave them on the YouTube channel, leave them on the comments to the post on pcper.com as well. All
And
right.
if you watch the entire thing of that, I flamethrow the rest of my office
Nice.
because it's just
can
okay.
tell
That's
from
live
behind
because
you.
it looks
Yeah.
exactly the same.
So now as we get into our merch section, it's time for the big reveal that everybody's been waiting for, the big world exclusive for Josh Tech. we have Josh Tech merchandise.
Merchandising.
Do you want your own?
The coffee cup.
You want your own Josh Tech coffee cup? It won't be filled with Wyoming whiskey when you get it, probably.
I mean, he
Probably
can
not.
fix that.
I forgot to clean this out before I put the bourbon in it, but it is bourbon, so you know.
It cleans everything.
It's an antiseptic, right?
Oh yeah.
And not only can you get that sweet. Here, move this out of the way.
Yeah, that's kind of small.
There you go.
You know, need a bigger one.
Also, you can get your very own Josh Tech T-shirt. Look at that.
World exclusive.
Freaking awesome.
World
Josh Tech
exclusive
wear.
information. And to go along with this, the URL is now joshtech.com. Takes you to this page, the merch page, where you can find a Josh Tech mug, a Josh Tech print, and a Josh Tech T-shirt in many colors, multiple colors at the very least.
Feel like we're selling used cars.
This is great. The mug is fantastic. This is literally, it's a poster that
It's
you
a
can
canvas print.
It's a canvas print that you can put up in your
I would proudly have that in my living room.
up
Actually,
to
I
16
might
by
get
Tell
20.
me that.
Up to 16 by 20.
At least it
I'm
was my
thinking we
bedroom.
might have to do a print series so you can have like a mosaic on
I'm
your
gonna
wall.
hang one on my
PC
ceiling.
prints.
It's like the Wookiee Jesus.
I want the
I have
dark
a
gray
signed
version.
copy
There you
of that,
go.
by the way.
You
For
have a
some
signed
reason,
copy
it
of the
won't let
Wookiee
us sell
Jesus?
the
So do I.
It
it
won't let
image
us sell the
resolution?
biggest size. I said we wanted to sell the biggest size, and they just said no.
That's so weird. I do appreciate Ken, who set this up, his attention to detail, because this is the Josh Tech print with two T's at the end.
That's clever.
And the Josh Tech mug with two on there. Again, all the proceeds on this go to us, just like the Patreon type stuff. So if you want, I think everybody needs this in their life.
It was pretty
yeah.
funny earlier
Listen,
today. when
Ryan
you-
bought a T-shirt. I bought a mug. We're into this. You should get into
I paid
this.
full price for my T-shirt.
And if you're Canadian, the mug's cheaper than the print.
Oh,
It's 18 and 25.
they must have a place to print mugs in Canada, but not canvases. Interesting. Of course, you still have access to the PC Per mug, Death Wish Raid, the PC Per Classic T-shirt. All of that is still there for you. But obviously, you want the Josh Walrus, Josh Tech with the racing wheel T-shirt. It does.
I like how they got the glass is pretty accurate.
It's pretty
Yeah.
good.
Yep.
It does have a PC Per logo on the back of the T-shirt as well. So don't worry. You know, if you want the green, I like that green color. It's nice.
Yeah,
Kelly
I
Green.
figured you'd do a British Racing Green for Josh Tech.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's
yeah,
required.
that works.
Be prepared
Hey.
to answer questions whenever you wear this T-shirt out.
Yeah.
Is all I can say. All I can say.
And then email us the stories that you tell.
Again, the new URL for the merch store, no longer a bit.ly. It is joshtech.com. JOSHTEKK.com.
The solution to do with what to do with Josh Tech was in front of our eyes all
I
this
know, the
time.
whole
entire
time.
time.
Merchandising.
Josh
So,
Tech, the flamethrower.
We're totally into now making new T-shirts. If anybody wants, has new designs for us, I think we have a Darth Malventano.
I don't think it'll be a T-shirt.
I
I
don't
think it
think
might
it's
be a
t-shirt. I don't
mug
think
and a
it's
print.
t-shirt.
I don't think it'll work too well as a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Which image is that? I don't remember which one.
It's a very
I don't
complex
know. I
image,
can't
and
find
it
it.
has your face on it, so I don't want to put it on a T-shirt.
Oh, gee, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Josh gets the adorable freaking walrus.
Well, yeah.
But you don't want to put Darth Malventano on a freaking T-shirt.
Alan, come up with a spirit animal, and we'll figure this out.
I don't.
Now I feel bad because I'm trying to figure out. I want to say that it was Mark. I can't find the email now.
Oh, you're looking for the Darth Malventano.
Yeah. No. Well, he did both. Actually, he did one for me too, but I don't think that one was a good one either for a
I don't
T-shirt.
remember.
The 10 cents per gig. Sure. We might have to rethink that one too. But anyway, check out the shirts. Buy them if you think they're funny. Buy them if you don't. I don't really care.
Yeah.
So let's get on to the podcast. Now, here's a trick, guys. It's on the rundown for the 2700X. We can't talk about it on the live stream. So if you're watching this or listening to this after the fact, here we are talking about the latest Ryzen processors. And we're back. Wasn't that a riveting discussion about Ryzen processors?
It was. I feel like we totally
Fascinating.
did not pre-record that.
Jeremy, where'd you go?
Now the
So
Jeremy, you
get
left
more
for that
beer.
30
What do you
minutes.
think?
Oh, okay.
There's also a continuity error now because I wasn't wearing my hoodie during that segment.
Ryan, we talked about this before the podcast. There should
I
be
know,
no
but I can
continuity
only-
errors.
No dedication.
I could only tape the headphones to one part of one shirt.
3 years from now, you're going to be explaining to a fan why it is that this happened.
I know. So anyway, let's move on to the next
How are you
topic.
not too hot in that?
It's a little bit.
I
chilly
didn't say
here.
I wasn't.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, yeah, if you're watching the live stream, I apologize for that. But if you're watching this or listening to this after the fact, it will all be in there. Reviews go up at 9 a.m. tomorrow on Thursday morning. So let's talk about some other stuff. We missed this from last week, actually. This is a review that Alan posted of the Western Digital Black NVMe and SanDisk Extreme Pro NVMe 1 terabyte hard drives, not hard drives, excuse me.
I know we said Western Digital.
I said Western Digital. That's just what I'm going with.
I know.
Right?
And you said black, which you would normally think normally hard drives, yeah. There have been some Western Digital Black SSDs. Remember there was the Black 2?
Yeah.
Years back, you know,
too,
it was like a hybrid. It was a hard drive plus a SSD, like kind of sort of built in, right?
Well, they also already have a black NVMe drive as well.
They do. This is the Western Digital WD Black.
That's stupid.
That is a different product than the Western Digital
Seems
Black
reasonable.
NVMe
They got
SSD.
Microsoft working on this with the Xbox One box.
Yeah,
Xbox.
That was brought up as a point of confusion, and they basically were like, "Look, like this is what the black should have been. We regret calling the last one the black.
Are these
So sorry."
the same product essentially?
They are the exact same product.
just
with
different labels and different channels that they can sell through.
There's
and
a
all
few bytes different in the firmware, and that's the bytes that say the product name.
That's pretty good.
That's basically it.
Pretty good.
So yeah, they're identical products. They're
Are we allowed to say they're identical products?
I mean, they told us they're identical
right.
products. So like,
I
yeah,
just want to flash the Western Digital firmware to the SanDisk one.
Well, I mean,
Just
it would
just
still
because.
it would still do
Just
the
exactly.
same.
Just because.
Yeah, I guess. Anyway, but the reason they're sticking with this for the moment is because SanDisk has more of a name in like OEM circles,
Right.
and they're still trying to take advantage of that, even though technically they're the same company and one owns the other, and you know.
So what are the specs we're looking at for these identical products?
The specs are pretty ambitious. You're basically looking at the same kind of specs you'd expect out of something like a 960 Pro, which is like flagship, like not just flagship, but like sort of king of like NVMe test results, right? You know, I mean, it's all I did have an issue where they're still Western Digital's rating the drive. They're doing like the they rated it QDEP 32 8 threads. So if you have 8 programs on your computer that are simultaneously requesting 32 things
each.
at the same time, it's kind of like, no,
That's
come
a
on,
little
guys.
insane. All right.
We kind of need to move away from the crazy IQ depths and the specs.
We get our numbers higher, Alan.
I understand. That's how you get your high numbers. But what really matters, and we'll cover this as we go through the review, is like, you know, low Q depth numbers, right? We want good performance without giving the SSD some huge heads up of 255 instructions into the future, right? I did. It's sort of funny for these drives, but I did do an internals. And by that, I just peeled the labels off. And then you can definitely tell that they're.
Why'd you invert them? And now I can't tell for sure.
Scroll down.
Oh,
there. Are you happy? Okay. Just for you, I included that next picture. It's the same damn thing.
Okay.
Right. It's BiCS3 TLC flash. These drives have basically think of them as like 960 Evo style, like an Evo class driver that it does the SLC caching, right? If you scroll down a little more, there's some pretty interesting stuff here, and that is people have to get creative. They're trying to catch up to Samsung, right? And we're talking Samsung products that launched like 2 years ago, and people still have yet to surpass them.
Sure.
Right? So you kind of got to get creative, and Western Digital and SanDisk have certainly done this here. Their controller has these things in it called sequencers.
So you're saying they got perpendicular, right?
No.
No, oh, I'm sorry.
No, there's no perpendicular style video for sequencers.
Someone should invent that.
Basically, what they are is like hardware pipelines that are designed to handle. They're ASICs.
Okay.
So think like Bitcoin mining ASICs, and they go way faster than a CPU can. Same kind of deal here. ASICs. There's a set of them on the host side. basically there's an NVMe ASIC. So you have a set of hardware designed to a specific NVMe revision, like an NVMe spec, right? So it handles all that stuff in hardware and presumably can do that much faster than a controller trying to do it all in firmware or software. And then there are things called sequencers, which handle all the data path going from the host all the way across to the flash. There is some help. There is still in this case, a triple core. I think it's an ARM CPU in there. It handles things like flash translation layer. Like that's still a thing. You have to still look up where is the data actually on the flash. But that aside,
are you sure it's not a RISC-V processor?
I don't think they said it was a RISC-V processor.
I don't know if they've launched anything of that yet.
I don't think so either.
Well,
yeah, no, they were saying this is like an ASIC style hardware. So the idea is that while the CPU kind of steps in and guides the process, it's doing it more alongside of the pipelines as opposed to being in the center of the pipelines, right? So now you're not waiting specifically for a CPU to be able to, accelerate these transactions. And they actually went as far as if you scroll down a little bit more, I think, not sure where you are on the page. Yep. They put the error correction engine. Nope, no, go back. They have different stages of error correction, which this is a common for error correction. Like it's, there's usually only a couple of bits or not where they should be. And then it's relatively easy to do that computation. Well, have multiple stages, and most of everything this drive could normally need to ever do is also in ASIC. Okay. For error correction.
Got it.
So error correction was one of the issues that, remember the Samsung 840 drives, and they had that weird slowdown issue because the drives were kind of like spinning. If you let them sit for too long, the cell threshold or cell voltages levels would drift slightly, and like drive was like having a hard time doing reads. Remember that whole thing?
Mm-hmm.
That kind of thing probably wouldn't happen if you had your error correction hardware accelerated.
Okay.
Right. Anyway, and they have a thing called Spectrum tiered caching. It's just a creative, it's SLC caching.
Got it.
They're a little bit, they went into a bunch of detail when they briefed us on it, but it's basically, they're very aggressively empties the cache when the drive is idle. And it also does what's called direct-to-die writes, which means that once the cache is all the way full, if you're writing to it so quickly that the cache gets full and is not able to empty at the same time without sort of slowing down the writes at the host level, it kind of just changes gears and goes, okay, I'm going to leave what's in the SLC cache, just leave it there, and I'll do the rest of these writes straight to TLC, which it can still do reasonably fast, but obviously not as fast as it could to the cache. And then when the drive is finally idle later, it goes back and it cleans up the cache, so that your next writes are going quicker. So I would say just
we're going to jump to.
Go to performance focus on like either one of them just briefly. And I would just skip all the way down to the cache test just real quick to mention. Yep. This drive did some weird stuff with caching. So normally what we expect in these charts is a high speed for a few seconds, so on the left side of that chart, and then a drop to a low speed. In other words, direct-to-die TLC speed. We didn't see that with these. I don't understand why these drives they just didn't like the way that we were writing to them. And all we're doing is sequential at QDEP4 writes. Okay. So there's nothing, nothing unique about it. It's just these drives didn't like that for some reason. Maybe they're interesting. Maybe people have started tuning specifically to look for like QDEP32, which is what people would commonly do as a test. But the thing is, the OS almost never does QDEP that high. So, this is maybe the manufacturers are tuning for a very specific case, and our test just isn't that case. And if you scroll down one more chart, you'll notice that it did that same exact pattern. This is like 6 different iterations of that same kind of a test. And basically those red lines dividing that chart is we're giving the drive more and more time to idle.
Oh, I see.
We don't normally publish this one, but I always do that as a test anyway to see, try to gauge how long it took the cache to empty. If it took a
Okay.
long time, right? In this case, it's just the same kind of weird pattern every single time.
So for these intervals, how much data are we talking about? I mean, it looks like it's a very, very fast write, but
Well, it's however much data the drive will take, right? Because it's a 60-second write to the
Right.
drive, and then we'll stop. In the case of this, we'll stop for 3 seconds, and then we'll do it again. Then we'll stop for 5 seconds, do it again, and then towards the end of it, we're stopped for a minute and a half, which should be more than enough time for pretty much any SSD to empty its SLC cache.
Should be.
And even in
Let's hope
that
so.
case, same exact pattern after the 90-second wait. So
the actual weights are increasing over time.
yeah, I do that on purpose. That's what the workload looks like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the weights are not plotted because there's just nothing going on, right? So I'm basically like time compressing that, and you're just seeing what does that sequential write look like,
Got
you
it.
know, 6 of them in a row, all next to each other. Anyway,
Okay. Anyway, go ahead. Where am I going next?
It didn't seem to affect anything real world. It didn't seem to affect the actual performance of the drive. I would go straight to the client queue depth. Well, no, go to sequential and random.
I will do so.
Okay.
Oh, baby, go.
Sequential writes. These drives beat Samsung.
Okay.
Yeah.
By a lot.
Yeah. And that's a 960 Pro 2 terabyte that's dark red. That's a lot lower than the,
Like right at 2 gigabytes per second.
yeah, QDF2.
Whereas these two drives are like 2.6.
Yeah, 2.6 to 2.7. Yeah. So
All right.
right out of the gate, just
That'll
write
be noticeable.
performance.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Okay. So now if you think about it, writing to the flash is something where those sequencers can accomplish their task without necessarily having to consult the CPU.
Right. They just don't have to wait for acknowledge and stuff.
It doesn't have to worry about doing flash translation layer stuff necessarily because you're writing to the SLC cache. You're not writing to the bulk media,
Okay.
right? All right, go down to, next chart. You're going with sequential reads.
Mhm.
Samsung wins here. So these drives are super performant on writes. On reads, not so much, but still competitive. Still reasonably fast. They're beating SSD 750 from Intel as an example. Doing decent. Burst random writes.
Oh, sorry.
Next chart. Once again,
Wow.
kicking Samsung's butt.
Yeah.
Again, it's closer here, but still, these are
They're
faster.
winning.
And then burst random reads is that chart's kind of hard to read. So just go to that next performance comparisons thing.
All right.
All
So
right,
now,
and
so now to the page I care about where it has the dollar signs on it, but keep going.
no, we're not there yet. So okay,
allow
so
it.
focus on the blue bars here initially
Focused,
because
focused.
those are more important. That's your actual like the kind of stuff you're gonna feel, like you know
Mhm.
your random read performance. They're very competitive, 19,300
Mhm.
ish for this compared to if you look at
20.9 on the Evo, 25K on the Pro.
960 Pro 2 terabytes at the very bottom.
Mhm.
That's 25,000. But realize the Pro is an MLC drive. But if you compare it to the Evo, that's just under 21,000. So you're comparing 19.3 to 21.
Right.
Right. That it's almost like that other review I can't talk about right now.
Correct.
Anyway,
That was one bullet point ago.
yeah. You'll get it.
So-
You'll get it later. But now go back to that 4K
Oh,
random chart. Look at the random write performance.
Mhm.
101,000.
Beating those Evos down there.
It's
Or
beating the Evo.
960s.
It's beating the Pro. It beats the 900p.
Mhm.
It's not on that chart.
Oh,
I
was
wrote
like,
it in the
okay,
paragraph
yeah.
and a link to
Oh,
it.
got it.
It beats the Optane drives.
All right.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Right? Now, granted, this is random write performance, and that's not the thing that consumers are doing most of the time, but at least you don't have to worry about any writes causing any hiccups in your system
Mhm.
because these drives can absorb random writes. Like, it's just insane how well that performance is. I wish they could do that with the reads. But But, you know, like, at the end of the day, it's flash memory, and it can only be so quick, right? Burst sequential. There you go. Those 2 red bars, sequential writes. It's just
Impressive.
walking all over Samsung, even Samsung
Reed's
MLC
a little bit
drives.
behind. But
Yep,
yeah.
reads are a little bit behind. You know, but still, it's impressive, especially for writes.
Yeah.
I guess take a quick stop at the mixed burst thing, because that'll show you. Yeah, go to the next page.
All right. All right.
That'll show you again how well those writes are, even though for this test they're background writes that the user normally wouldn't care about and notice anything, because the write speed is only like 20 meg per second average, and all these drives are going well over that. But there was less of a hit to the read performance during the background write workload on these 2 drives, the 2 new ones, compared to a 960 Evo. Right, so the 960 Evo actually, like, the gap is even closer now,
Right.
in the read performance compared to a 960 Evo, because, you know, the Evo has to work a little bit harder because its write speed is slower than these drives. Interesting stuff. So, go to your favorite part with the pricing.
Dollar signs.
Dollar signs.
10 cents a gig. 10 cents a gig.
No, it's not going to be 10 cents a gig.
Oh.
However,
Okay.
under 50 cents a gig
Yeah.
is pretty competitive.
Yeah.
Especially when in some of the metrics, these drives are beating other SSDs from other manufacturers that are priced higher.
Right.
And then those guys price those drives higher because they're banking on people wanting the high performance. Well, these are priced lower with arguably similar performance.
Yeah.
Like trading blows performance.
Yeah.
Right.
That's impressive.
Uh,
It's been a long time since we've seen something like that.
Yeah. And especially for it to come out of Western Digital. Like what people are used to, a hard drive company.
Well,
Right.
like bought SanDisk as it
They
turned
did
out.
buy SanDisk.
You remember
and
the first SSD?
the Black 2.
No.
Oh.
The WD Blue.
Yeah. I remember
Yeah.
that
We
one.
used those. Didn't we
I
get some
remember that
like
one.
servers with those? I think AMD sent us Optron servers.
I
Those
think we
were-
had like 2
WD Blues
512
and,
gig or
They were
256.
256. They were J Micron SSDs.
Yeah, but that was when that was like shit tons of flash storage.
I know.
So we use those things
Yeah,
for a
it's true.
long
Yeah.
time.
'cause they
I
were
think as
huge.
like game drives and stuff
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
That controller was super stuttery on random access, but it was just a huge chunk of flash. Like just at the time.
Yeah.
Right? Like it was, among the highest capacity SSDs you can
that's
get.
good.
Yeah, so I gave these drive editors choice. Realized those prices we were talking about there, those were the MSRPs.
Yeah.
What
What are they actually? Are they actually selling yet?
There's like $1 less.
Oh,
I have
okay.
it as a pick.
Ooh.
Ooh,
Yeah.
the savings.
Ooh, well,
$1, eh?
More you buy, more you save.
savings.
All right.
Yeah, so very, very surprising out of Western Digital. I hope they keep it up. I hope they can make that write performance do the same thing that did, or the read performance do the same they did with the write performance in the future.
Yeah, sure. PFM. Let's do it.
Yeah, well, the writes are PFM, so
Hey, magic is magic, guys.
yeah.
All right, let's move on. Real quick, I'll just mention Maury did a review of a motherboard you can't buy in the US. But hey, it's got the word lightsaber in it. It's the ECS Z370 lightsaber motherboard.
This is Disney's favorite motherboard.
Somewhere in those traces is hidden a Mickey Mouse ears.
I was going to
Officially
say, is
endorsed.
this supposed to be the Mickey Mouse part right here? I
No.
don't think so. Also, this doesn't look like a lightsaber in any form to me that I can really dive
Yeah,
through here.
But it's lead on the heat sink.
How do you
Elite.
get to use that word?
You don't sell it in the US, and you
Oh.
avoid American patent, or trademark.
You avoid the
laws.
I
Moses.
guess.
Yeah.
Copyright?
I mean, it was decent, right? But go check out the review if you live outside the U.S. and something you're interested in buying. I wouldn't. This is not like something I like. Oh man, you should go find your way to eBay and figure out a way to import this motherboard.
I mean, it's
into
just
the US.
it's just a motherboard.
Hey,
It's
guess
a
what?
motherboard.
Some of our audience doesn't live in the U.S.
Yeah, I know.
That's
I
true.
know.
Hey, look at all those buttons at the bottom, though.
It's got a lot of buttons.
It's got buttons.
Look at those
Pushing
buttons.
your buttons, Maury.
Got buttons on the side.
CMOS battery replacement is pretty good.
Yeah.
I know.
Everyone needs a
Well,
big red button.
no, it's kind of under
Wait,
the GPU,
wait.
isn't it?
Well,
Yeah.
you'd have to have a 2.5 slot card for it to be a
Yeah.
problem.
Oh, okay.
Scroll down a little bit. I saw something.
Oh,
a
yeah.
little bit more.
If you see something, say
Click here
something.
to continue reading a review of the ECS Z97 machine
Oh,
motherboard.
Maury.
How long has he
Maury.
been copy pasting
Maury,
that?
this template. Oh no.
Where's the link go?
Oh,
It probably
ooh.
goes to the Z97 review.
No, it goes the right way. He did
okay.
update
That's
the
good.
link,
That's
if
good.
nothing else. All right, good to know.
Poor guy.
So here's an aside.
Okay.
Because this has a SPDIF port or a Toslink port on top of the USB on the second
Yep,
power
here.
there.
Right here.
Yeah.
So why haven't boards adopted the whole hybrid optical 1/8-inch TRS jack that's used a lot on dongles
Notebooks.
nowadays?
How many people do you know that actually use the optical?
I do.
I mean, they've got
Oh, okay,
room
we got one.
to put
So,
the full size one.
It has to come with the cable.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't have to come with it.
It has to come with the adapter plug thing.
It doesn't
Which
have
is like
to.
30 cents.
I guess.
Like there are plenty of like all notebooks use that have optical out use that
3.
connector, and they don't come with the adapter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4,
should.
5. All right, you're not alone. There's about a half dozen people that do.
They're liars, all of them.
I bet they have optical drives.
All of them, liars.
I do have an optical
Yeah.
drive. Thank you
Oh,
very
yeah,
much.
Of course,
Oh,
you got
I
an
know.
optical drive.
Do you
Oh,
run the cable
goodness.
from your?
No, it's what I use to sit my TV on.
You
top
run the
of.
audio cable out of the optical
the old
drive
MPC
to the-
cable?
No,
I just
no.
had to run optical drives this week actually.
Optical cables. not
Optical
drives.
cables.
Sorry, yeah, optical drives. Yeah, no, definitely didn't do that. What am I, an idiot?
Yep.
Anyway, let's move on. Intel. This is a NUC. It's not a brand new NUC, and so this is not something that's like better or greater than the Hades Canyon we saw.
Well, it's new. It's just in a different market segment.
But okay, sure. It is your standard NUC size NUC. It is
Yeah.
the NUC 7i7DNHE,
Okay.
the Dawson
Rolls off
Creek.
the tongue.
Which is very
Dawson
confusing
Canyon.
because this has an 8th generation processor.
Dawson Canyon. What did I say? I said
You
Creek.
said
Sorry.
Dawson's Creek.
I
And now we've learned something we didn't want
I
to know about
literally,
Ryan.
before I put this review in the system, I Control F to see if I said Dawson's Creek anywhere.
That's pretty good. I
think
totally
I found
did
it
not
one
do that
place.
on purpose, but that's pretty good. Anyway, Dawson's Canyon. Core i7-8650U, Kaby Lake refresh. So this is a quad-core hyper-threaded part. Intel UHD graphics, no discrete graphics in here. Wireless 802.11ac, gigabit Ethernet, 2 HDMI ports. One of them more interesting than the other. We'll talk about as well.
So let's get this out of the way. This is a quote unquote business enterprise NUC. This isn't
that
necessarily
mean?
in their consumer oriented lineup.
Anything
Not
play
meant for
that out in
gaming.
terms
Uh,
of specific?
I think the IO is like there's an interesting thing with the IO which we can get to. There's like an expansion slot for adding things like serial or USB. So these NUC motherboards always have a bunch of headers because they get used in different integrations and different casings. So you have like an RS-232 header
Hold
on the
Go-
board.
Go, back up. Look
Right
at
here, I'm looking at
No,
this.
no. Wait. Go back up. That is cool.
Actually, that's awful
Oh, it is.
compared to the previous NUCs.
That's not the feet
Mm.
of the. Are
So-
the feet not thumb screws that open the?
Yeah.
That's how all NUCs have worked for several
Yeah,
generations.
that's how they've been.
However,
I just think that's cool.
What I'm showing here is the SATA and the SATA power cable, which is that little tiny ribbon connector, which is pretty fragile.
Oh.
The cables aren't long enough for you to sit both sides side by side, so you have to disconnect it. The previous NUCs with hard drives, the cables were long enough where you could just kind of put it off to the
Lay
side,
it open.
so you could install your RAM. Which is
Yeah.
like that little tiny power connector. If you're in this thing like a couple of times, you might pull that off the board. Like
Oh.
it doesn't take a lot of torque
Is it
to
a proper SATA power
pull it up.
connector, or is it something?
No, it's like that. You can see
Yeah.
that little weird like 5 or 6 pin connector right there.
Yep.
Okay, that's what I
Full
thought it
size
was.
SATA data connector, but
Yeah.
So that was a bit
Yeah.
weird compared to other NUCs.
Okay. And then there's this serial port.
So
add-on
there's like
thing.
a serial header on the motherboard. There's USB 3 header. There are a bunch of different headers, and
So I
they
can
kind of have
connect
this
my game
expansion
controller.
system now.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
for enterprises that need specific, like you can get one with 3 USB ports, I think, on it, or serial. Like if you need to integrate this into a specific, like if you need it to have serial to control some industrial machinery and you just want a standalone thing, you can use it for that.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it only has 4 USB ports. It doesn't have audio out besides HDMI. It doesn't have optical or analog audio out.
That's definitely a business thing.
Yeah, so it's in their business line and isn't quite very consumery. I mean, you could use this.
Right.
There's nothing stopping you.
So, what about these 2 HDMI ports I'm looking at? One of them is labeled protected UHD. What is that telling me?
So this is kind of an interesting thing that Intel's done in their UEFI. There are 3 options. There's just a kind of disabled normal operation. There's a headless mode, and then there's a display emulation mode. And what display emulation mode is it always shows having a 1080p monitor connected. So if you're remoting into this thing a lot, You know how sometimes you have issues where if you don't have a display connected to a machine and you try to remote in, you get like a 640 by 480
Yeah, it's
display.
my favorite.
And this fixes that because Windows always or Linux always thinks it has a 1080p display connected. So when you remote
Linux?
in, it will be full resolution.
Oh, if you're doing like a Linux.
Okay.
or Windows. Like
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
seen this happen with Windows before. So you don't have to use like the mirror driver that you like in VNC or
Yeah,
anything.
yeah.
So if you're using RDP a lot, using VNC a lot, it's kind of an interesting thing for running a headless machine.
Interesting. Okay. That's it. I think we brought this up recently. What were we talking about when we were talking about like headless machines?
We talked about VNC and the mirror driver. It was Alan's pick
Oh, that's right.
one
That's what it
Yeah.
was.
week
Okay.
a couple months ago.
So
Was
this is kind of a hardware fix for that. So you don't
Yeah.
have to worry about some
Yeah, that
stuff like
was-
that. Okay.
Tight VNC, wasn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
So system performance wise,
Ultra VNC.
what
yeah.
did this
Ultra.
what
Oh.
did this look like?
So it was pretty impressive. This is the first machine we've seen with the 8650U, although I just purchased a Surface Book 2 that has it, so that review will be incoming and be an interesting comparison point.
Mm-hmm.
However, the XPS 13 pulls away. That new
Yeah.
XPS 13, the 9370, I think they run up around 24, 28 watts at some point
Yeah.
on that U-series part. So they're just getting monstrous performance out of it.
Yeah.
It does level out in some more sustained tests like handbrake. If you look
Handbrake
at-
takes a long time to run.
Yeah.
So yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
So it's a quad core hyper-threaded NUC.
It's the highest performance NUC in this form factor we've ever seen,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah. Interesting. Now these are generally not inexpensive parts. Where does this one fall in that range?
I believe this is $599 for the kit, which is also why this is way more business oriented. Because if you look at the Baby Canyon NUCs, which is the worst name in the world, you can get a 7th gen U series 28 watt part with Iris Pro graphics and Thunderbolt 3 for like $300 to $400 for the bare bones kit.
Okay.
So you're paying a lot more for the extra sort of performance and the business features.
Got it. Well, the Baby Canyon's a 2-core 4-thread,
Yeah.
right?
But
So-
they're also 28 watt parts with Iris graphics, so
Oh,
you
okay,
are
I see
getting
what
a
you're
little
saying. I got
more
it.
there
Okay.
over this.
yeah.
Intel for some reason hasn't launched. It doesn't really seem like they're going to launch a Kaby Lake Refresh consumer NUC. I'd love to see one with Thunderbolt
it
3.
seems more like we're waiting for Coffee Lake.
Cannon Lake.
You don't think they're going to do Coffee Lake versions of this?
No,
I don't know.
I don't think there's
Nah.
going to be a Coffee Lake U series part. I think they'll skip to Cannon Lake.
I don't know anything. I don't know.
Uh,
Usually, it's interesting because usually we can kind of use like leaked NUC roadmaps
Yeah.
to tell us about the future of what these 15-watt parts are actually going to do, right? So, yeah, check out that review. That's the Dawson Canyon, not Dawson's Creek NUC.
I was waiting for it.
I had to look at the review page again just to be sure. Also, real quick, I'll mention this. If you're interested in the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus, Sebastian did a review of that. This is I think this is the first phone we have using the Snapdragon 845, and one of the first ones. I think a Sony one came out before this. Really nice phone, impressive specs, 6.2-inch, 2960 by 1440 AMOLED. You got the Snapdragon 845 in there, Adreno 630, 6 gigs of RAM, up to 256 gigs of storage. It's got the Snapdragon X20 LTE modem what's the X20 do? 1.2 gigabits per second, 802.11 AC, 3500 milliamp hour battery, Android 8. What's that? That's Oreo, right? Yeah.
And the most important part, a headphone jack.
It does have a headphone jack,
Oh, yeah.
Sweet.
USB Type-C. Again, same form factor that we had seen previously. God, these screens are so impressive. Sebastian spends a lot of time on the performance benchmarks. CPU-wise, it is behind only the A11 Bionic used in the 8 Plus and iPhone 10.
Shocking no one.
Shocking no one. Yeah, true. But in the graphics performance, it is, he says as he scrolls, the GPU performance, it's tying or beating what Apple's been able to do with its part as well. So like, the ES 3.0
Nice.
Manhattan performance is a significant step above what the A11 Bionic can do. But if you look at some other tests, more synthetics, the ALU specific testing, the T-Rex ES 2.0 testing has them neck and neck. So there's some interesting dynamics there in the graphics side of things, but impressive GPU work on the part for sure. Usage, camera's great. I don't think there's any arguing around that now. I guess the P20, the Huawei P20 might have come away and taken its crown and whatnot. But
That's a good photo.
Yeah.
It's a
What's
really
that white
good
stuff
photo
on the
for-
ground?
it's called global warming. It's called global warming. We
What
had
kind of tree is that?
a dead one.
Dead tree.
No, it's a hibernating tree. I don't know.
Mm.
Battery life was good, not great. Apparently didn't beat the S8 Plus running in 1080p mode, which I guess kind of makes sense. You just didn't have enough time to run the S9 Plus and the associated
12-hour plus battery test. As it turns out, take a lot of time to
Yeah,
run.
you got to wait for it to charge. Sometimes they air out. Yeah, there's a lot of complication there. So check out that review if you're interested in the S9 Plus from a performance technology standpoint, as opposed to user interface.
I
necessarily.
really like the 845 chip.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's a nice balance of performance and I mean, especially sometime you and I will have to compare and contrast that and the Samsung Exynos and
We do.
go on kind of an architectural level on that. But
should.
I think that those ARM guys did some good stuff. Though it's interesting that they still can't quite get to that level of Apple, but we're talking thermals, battery, and just
It's a complicated
overall.
equation.
It is.
Yeah.
Is
And plus, did you use a 5-volt DC brushless fan to cool it?
No,
while
I
he
left it
was
on the
away?
air conditioning duct.
Oh,
That's what you do,
As one does.
as one does.
D- Does it seem weird that there are no other 845 phones? Like, I think you mentioned there might be that Sony that's out, but like, I can't remember how the cycle normally goes with this
Because
stuff.
they're going into laptops, Ken.
I don't know the answer to that
As we'll talk
question,
about
to
later.
be fair.
I think it's about 3 months after we see kind of the flagship
Samsung's usually
Samsung
first.
that has
Yeah,
Right?
it
cutting
feels
edge
like there should
stuff.
be more
and then-
phones
I would
out
agree
right
with
now.
that.
Maybe it's a little early for that.
I'd agree, though.
Mm.
We'll find out soon. All right, let's take a quick break here, everybody. We've got to thank today's podcast sponsor. That's right. It's my new friends at Simple Contacts. This episode of the PC Perspective podcast is brought to you by Simple Contacts, an easy and convenient way to renew your contact lens prescription or reorder your contacts from anywhere within minutes. Get $30 off your first Simple Contacts order by visiting simplecontacts.com/PCPer and enter promo code PCPer. Now, what is Simple Contacts? Obviously, you guys want to know this. This is it's one of the more interesting applications, I was going to say of the internet, but that's kind of
It solves a problem you've been bitching about for
so
4
much,
years.
so much.
Yeah.
I've complained so much. So I wear contact lenses. I don't want to say I despise doctors. I despise having to be on a doctor's schedule, making an appointment, going and doing all that stuff. So I dread doing the renewals. That's why I was actually legitimately excited to try this new sponsor of Simple Contacts. It's an app and it's a website that basically allows me to reorder my lenses, get a prescription update from the app, from the website.
Hold on.
Yeah,
What?
it does. Simple Contacts brings the doctor's office to your home. The vision test is designed by doctors, and every test is carefully reviewed by a doctor. So here's how it works. If you have the app, you put the app, you stand it up on a table, and it tells you to step back 10 feet and do an eye test.
Huh.
And it records the video of you doing it so that they know whether or not you read the letters correctly.
Whether or not you covered your eye.
Yeah, and you get the camera close to you, and it has you look up and all up, down, left, right, in directions, looking for redness in your eyes.
Oh.
It submits all that, and then within 24 hours, you get a response back from a doctor.
Because
on
that's
whether or not
really
your
all the doctor's
prescription's
doing
approved.
anyway, right? Like,
Yeah, look, I'm not going to here denigrate medical professionals, but yeah, kind of
Yeah.
a little bit of that. Now they do say that this is not a replacement for a more in-depth eye medical health exam that they recommend every 4 years.
Right. But if everything is fine and your vision hasn't even changed, like you're just, you're just like, I just need more contacts.
Simple Contacts offers an amazing selection with every brand of lenses, and their prices are hard to beat. The eye exam is just $20, and they offer free shipping. As I said, not a replacement for a periodic full eye health exam. I went through this, right? They basically said, hey, they want to sponsor the podcast, and I, as always do, I want to see the services and test them out. And I did it. I did mine from the laptop, not through the app, but through the website, where it uses the webcam, turns it on, says step back 10 feet, read this. Did the eye test on it.
Compensating for the size of the screen? What are they?
So it's really cool, actually. you hold up a credit card and you drag a square so it's the exact same size as a credit card, and then it knows what the scale is to adjust on your
That's pretty
resolution and
cool.
stuff. Yeah,
Clever.
it's a really interesting thing.
Huh.
So I imagine a lot of you guys are out there wearing contacts. If you want to save $30 on your first Simple Contacts order, go to simplecontacts.com/PCPer and enter the code PCPer at checkout. Again, $30 off your first order when you go to simplecontacts.com/PCPer. Enter promo code PCPer at checkout, and we thank them for their support of the PC Perspective podcast, making my life a little bit easier for the next 6 months.
Yeah.
I work contacts.
There you go. You should go to simplecontacts.com/PCPer, enter promo code PCPer for $30 off your first order, Josh.
Gosh, where are your contacts?
$30.
You wearing contacts right now?
Those are just those
Sure.
glasses are just for
Think of
style.
it as $29.99.
Oh, I see.
I'm sold.
All right,
All
let's move on to some news items. Run through these. If you're listening to this in the recorded version, we've already talked about the the Ryzen 2700X, 2600X processor review. Asus is planning an ROG Strix X470i mini ITX board. Look at that thing; it's so tiny.
What's that little thing over the middle of the? Is it
What?
just protecting?
I guess it's just it's holding the arm down, maybe.
Interesting.
I don't know,
Seen
Processor
that.
condom.
but
Yeah.
it's not really protecting anything because there's no pins there. I'm with you, Josh.
Well, I mean, it's not pins,
wasn't
but there's a
concerned.
bunch of little caps and resistors underneath that.
You
Yeah,
don't
but
want
it's
to
not
get anything in
covering
your
all of them.
holes.
Oh,
No, don't
Oh,
worry
it's
about the holes, because can you bend a hole? I mean, don't try.
Well-
Get some stuff
Can't-
stuck in there.
Try hard enough.
This is terrible. This is terrible. Where
Usually.
we're going now.
usually.
What's all the writing next to the? You gotta like click on it, and
What am I looking at?
next to the
Oh,
logo,
the
there's like a
Speed Game
whole.
ROG. Haven't you ever applied
like a
vinyl
word
to
cloud.
your car? And so you've got to have everybody who ever touched your car.
I'm getting my cast signed is what it looks like to
Oh,
me.
they sticker mod this thing so
Wait,
it
does
goes
it say
faster.
1, 2,
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what the
5,
speed is for.
1, 2, 4, 7,
It's
9.
Brembo PCIe slots.
I think it's in parentheses 25.12479.121.471475.
Put numbers there to put numbers there.
Man, BIOS codes are getting annoying.
That's going to get you a lot of extra horsepower.
It's a very important number you wouldn't understand.
So if you win an e-gaming, do you get contingency money for having that on there?
Hopefully.
Probably
Oh,
not.
Does
yeah.
that M.2 heatsink have an RGB LED in it?
Kind
I
of
mean,
looks.
Oh my God.
I mean, maybe.
Finally, a
Maybe it's a drive
reason-
activity light. Think about it.
I mean, if
That
that's
should be
if
that
that's
should be pretty cool.
if
That
that's
should
what
be
it
a
is,
thing.
it'd be cool.
That'd be
But
pretty cool. It's probably not, but it would be pretty cool.
Yeah, probably not.
There's an impressive list of features on this. RGB. I said already.
yeah,
Asus Aura Sync,
Full
not
bo-
just RGB.
Yeah, well, that's true. Full PCIe by 16, an extra USB 3.0 header, 2 DIMMs, obviously. Not enough space for anything else in that, but you got DIMM slots. Yeah. Or 2 SATA, 1 NVMe. I can't, there's not a picture of the back. There's only one NVMe M.2 slot, right?
Likely.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, still pretty impressive. I know a lot of people
That's
love these mini
compact.
ITX boards.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Love it.
That'll fill you up.
Get that Strix brand to everything. Here are some interesting rumors. Intel apparently decided to leak themselves the 8-core Coffee Lake S processor. Ken, is that right?
Yeah, so on the Intel technical documentation website, which I'm not sure why it publicly lists the available documents. It's a whole other thing, because if you try to click to download the documents, you get transferred to an Intel login, as you would expect. But they started listing some Coffee Lake S 8+2 documents, like the processor power integrity model document. Whatever the hell that is.
You know, you got to have processor power integrity.
Yeah.
This is good information for motherboard vendors to build.
Why is this listed on a public website?
It's probably not supposed to be, you know. But yeah, it's for power delivery optimization is what the description
The other sort of
says.
interesting thing is if you look at the next screenshot, it mentions Coffee Lake S 6+2 and 8+2 in the same document. So that kind of the theory would be that there's going to be some level of compatibility there.
Yeah.
Because we've heard rumors
Yeah.
of a Z390 chipset. So hopefully Z370 boards get an update.
Do I assume that the +2 is the GPU configuration?
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
As far as I know.
Got it. So
Do you really think that's happening, Ken?
if the 8-core doesn't have a higher TDP, then I think it will happen. I think there's just so much.
I think you're being optimistic.
The question is
I think
whether
they've
or not
gotten
it's going to
so
support
much
the
shit
same
about
platform.
it that they realize that they have to release a Z370
So
update.
you say in this post, Ken, that it seems likely these new processors will launch alongside a Z390 chipset or something like that,
which
right?
has been heavily rumored and leaked
for a
as
long
well.
time.
Yeah, but I think we'll see Z370 compatibility.
You
Maybe
think?
it's just optimistic, but
I don't share your optimism.
yeah.
Are we ever going to get away from
No.
this new motherboard for every damn CPU thing? Like, what the heck is going on with this lately?
Intel's loving it.
Well, I mean, to be frank, this is what happens when your roadmap gets disrupted,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Suddenly you're releasing things out of cadence than what you had planned to do,
Right.
and it forces you to do things you wouldn't normally do. And qualifying things takes a lot of time, right?
Yeah.
So I understand it. You can blame AMD for it, I guess is what I'm saying.
Fair.
You can blame AMD for your
For
Intel
Intel's
processor
problems.
cadence being out of whack. So,
Damn you, AMD, being too fast with your processors.
Jeremy, tell me about this post you have here linking to a TechSpot story. It's running Qualcomm as a snap with the HP Envy X2. This is the Qualcomm/ARM powered device running Windows, right?
Yep. With full emulation, having no issues whatsoever.
All right.
Which is, in and of itself, a very impressive thing because the first go of ARM-powered laptops were, to say it was a disappointment is perhaps understating just what people experienced when they did it.
Mm-hmm.
And they ran through a bunch of tests, absolutely no problems playing any programs or games that they gave it a shot at. So, I mean, you've got great compatibility going on, which is technically impressive, but they went for a very odd form factor. So this thing is entirely metal, Gorilla Glass, Bang & Olufsen speakers,
Mm-hmm.
and a price tag of $1,000.
Yeah, it's pricey.
Which
That's too much money.
It's twice as much as it should be.
Yeah, I mean, even my expectations were kind of in the $700 range.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But it's just sort of phone pricing and phone design, but blown up to a laptop.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
It is.
Click through and look at the pictures, but it's an odd duck because you're looking at sort of a value performance in a golden case. It just,
Yeah.
I'm sure someone's gonna buy it. It's just I'm not quite sure who.
I mean, there's a premium here on the extended battery life. There's a premium on the connectivity, but you are running in like Core M3 kind of range performance levels.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah, the benchmarks do not.
the
turn out well for it.
benchmarks are not good. Like the performance benchmarks, application benchmarks are, I would call them bad, especially in this TechSpot article. Now, I would argue that doing video compression or video rendering on this type of Core M devices, it's a metric, right? Like it's worthwhile to have
it's a
that
bad
testing
idea because
but
the
it's not.
XPSS 13 actually did better.
Well, of course, yeah. But it's
On the battery.
it's not. Oh, gotcha. But it's not really like you're not going to do a lot of video editing on your Core M3 device, just like you're not going to do it on your Qualcomm Snapdragon device either. So.
Been out here hitting on the receptionist for 3 hours. What the hell are you doing? Oh, I'm rendering. It's just taking a while.
Oh, is that the excuse you give? Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah, that's good. Microsoft apparently took a mulligan. It released a build to RTM, which, by the way, what's that stand for, Ken?
Ready to manufacture.
Right, which used to be something they did when they stamped discs, I guess.
Yeah. And now apparently it's meaningless.
Because they just recalled it, apparently. So was this supposed to be RS4?
Yeah.
It was supposed to be. I don't think it got to the, it wasn't pushed, obviously.
No, I think it was.
It was only pushed to insiders.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
The
it was
insider
on
ring
fast
got
ring.
it.
Yeah.
And got a lot of blue screens of death immediately afterwards.
Yeah.
Great.
But by this time in the week, it was supposed to be like wide rollout for 1803 for RS4.
Huh.
So that would have been pushed out, but they delayed it.
Interesting.
And then they came out with, this is rare, but they came out with another build, not adding any other features. It's just like a bug fix build.
Oh God, oh God, oh God.
Yeah, so it's only incremented by 1 digit.
This time the RTM has released this, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's on the fast ring now, supposedly.
And nobody here was affected by that.
No.
No.
I saw a couple people tweet out that they had blue screens and stuff, but
And they
Learned
did say
my
like
lesson about
could you
that long
recover
ago.
from that?
it wasn't like an epidemic. It was just higher occurrence of blue screens.
Yeah.
Right.
What happens when your QA department is the people?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in their
Yeah.
defense, it was fast ring. You have to opt in, like for hey, I basically want to run betas. You know,
Sure.
I mean, come on.
But
But
You
they
would hope
kind
your
of planned on
RTM
being releasing
software-
this.
wouldn't have
Now.
a bug like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alan, you have a little bit of quick news here on the Toshiba refreshing of its hard drive branding.
Yeah.
Does this make it simpler for me? More simple?
Not if
Are
you're
you
used to the-
colorblind?
Well,
No.
okay. So
Then good.
they added colors. Gee, have we ever seen this? Anybody else do this before? Make colors for
I
hard
haven't.
drives?
No, I haven't. I haven't.
And then their colors are completely different. And like they have a blue, but it's a video streaming drive. They have a green, but it's a
Pretty.
high-end surveillance drive. So it's like, I don't know. That's confusing.
Yeah.
However,
I
put
want
that
the pink.
aside. I mean, all their stuff before was just a bunch of numbers. So it's like, okay, at
Right.
least they're making an effort to try to like, make things clear.
Okay.
Just like I just want a performance desktop drive. I'll look for the one with the gray label on it, right? Like, okay. But they did introduce 2 new models.
Oh, okay. It's not just
that-
complete rebranding.
no,
Got
it's not. So there is a video streaming specific device. This is supposed to be for like DVRs and like set-top boxes and that sort of thing. Only goes up to 3 terabytes. So it's not necessarily a huge drive, but the idea is it's really low power, really low heat production.
Mm.
So you put this in your fanless, like again, a DVR, those things kind of tend to run hot already. You don't
Put
need
them
to,
in cabinets and stuff.
yeah, you put them in
Yeah.
you don't need a hard drive, adding another bunch of heat to that. So that's fine. They have something we found interesting in their release was there is an annual workload rating of that drive of 72 terabytes per year.
That's interesting.
That doesn't seem like a whole lot.
Well, that's not bad if the drive is no more than 3 terabytes.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, really, how many times are you like in a DVR, how many times are you overwriting the entire like drive? You'd have to be recording every show possible that your DVR had tuners like continuously and lapping the thing constantly, right?
Well,
So
are you talking compressed video streaming or like 4K uncompressed YUV streaming?
oh, I mean,
not
you're
to a
right.
hard drive.
You're right there. But
Yeah,
you probably
yeah.
would. Yeah, you probably wouldn't be writing that to a hard drive. But so I don't have that much of an issue with the blue one. However, the green one is supposed to be a much higher end streaming recording type drive. This one is expected to be able to handle 64 simultaneous surveillance HD video streams.
Watching you.
Like that's a lot. That's a lot of data coming in and a lot of parallel streams. So obviously there has to be firmware on the drive that can handle that without the drive just seeking endlessly, trying to find, trying to seek to all these different locations at the same time. It kind of does what an SSD does, and it's able to like remap where the sectors are. So the drive itself is writing more sequential while it has, these parallel streams coming in that would actually normally look like a random write.
Okay.
So that's good and everything. Available all the way up to 10 terabytes. It's designed for like arrays, like, you could have a huge surveillance array, like RAID with a bunch of these drives in it, because 64 HD streams is going to kind of add up pretty quickly. So you need a lot of capacity there if you want to have any kind of historical record of all those streams. So it's,
How
has
many
a
bathrooms
vibration.
are there in the church?
Has vibration sensors like what the has vibration sensors built into it so they can
0.
handle having a lot of these in one chassis. In other words, you get, harmonics and vibrations of all the drives spinning in the same
Yeah.
small enclosed space, right? So that's all very kind of enterprisey style features, which is all great. But then there is a workload rating of 150 terabytes per year in a model that comes up to 10 terabytes of capacity. So that's a problem
Yeah.
because once you get to the point where you start doing arrays, like, and anybody that's properly maintaining an array, like our array at the office. Every 2 weeks, that thing scrubs the whole array front to back. It does a sequential read of all drives, beginning to end, right? That workload, like that kind of standard practice setup that we did even in our office here, if we were using these drives, granted these are for video surveillance and we're using it for data storage, but like if we had those drives in there, we would be voiding their rating. Because if you read like 10 terabyte drive, if you read it every 2 weeks, that's more than 150 terabytes per year.
So does the rating scale with the capacity?
I don't know. We don't have that information yet. But if they said the rating is 150 terabytes per year and it comes up to 10 terabytes.
Yeah,
right,
I'm just thinking like you could
it
potentially be better
proportionally
off
lower?
getting the smaller drives in a bigger array because you could write them more times.
Yes. See, it's really weird. And what was more confusing to me about that was like, I was thinking maybe it's like sort of like how SSDs are, where it's based on how much writing you do.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's based on host activity.
Oh, so reads and writes.
Reads and
That
writes.
seems awful for surveillance purposes.
Well, I mean, you could argue for surveillance, you're not necessarily reading the stuff back all the
You
time.
might have a monitor with 4 cameras displaying all the time that's going through the IP system.
But that's not scrubbed off the drive.
Yeah, I mean, it should just be getting the streams as it comes across. My point is, you're probably not reading it back that much, aside from arrays that are doing consistency checking, like parity checking and stuff. Because you want to make sure when you do want to get your video that one of your drives hasn't had some bad sectors or something. That's why you scrub data, right? Because if it's just constantly recording video streams, if you never go back and try to read it ever, it might not be there. if you waited like 4 or 5 years or something, there could have been a bunch of bad sectors by that point. That's why you scrub arrays. So yeah, that rating seems weird to me. I haven't seen that kind of a rating on anything. Like, why would you suddenly mean like you can only do this so much? That's a thing for SSDs because you're wearing the thing out. Hard drives.
It's like one of the advantages hard drives have.
Yeah, like hard drives, you're supposed to be able to rewrite them bunches of times and read them like almost indefinitely over and over again without issue, right? Yeah. So interesting points there. Pricing, they're competitive, pretty competitive actually. 10 terabytes for $350. But remember, again, it's a video surveillance workload specific drive. Don't go installing Windows to this thing. It's not going to behave nicely.
I know you say that 10 terabyte.
I watch things through my Windows.
10 terabyte drives for $349 is reasonably priced, and I believe
decent.
And I believe you.
Yeah.
However, having just had a discussion with somebody in this office about purchasing 6 12 terabyte WD Golds.
How much were they?
I was with a significant discount, like $2,200 for the hard drives.
For 6 of them?
And I was like, holy gee, like it never occurred to me like to fill a RAID array, to fill a NAS, you got to spend thousands of dollars if you want like that kind of capacity.
Well, we spent that filling that array.
Yeah, well, it felt like we were getting one over because we bought drives and shucked them.
Drives, right.
And that was a deal. Like we got a deal at the time, and it was still a lot of money. I mean, that adds up when you got to buy 16 of them.
16 and $150 a pop.
Yeah,
just about.
There, as the
hard
saying,
drives are supposed to be cheap. I don't.
No. Hard drives are cheap, but storage is not.
Yeah.
Sure, fair.
Yeah.
But my expectations were hard drives were cheap. Therefore, the idea of spending $2,000 on hard drives is impossible. And apparently, that's not the case.
Because you need a bunch. It adds up.
Apparently, it's not the case
when you multiply them.
So there you go.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting stuff. And one last thing. Speaking of storage again, Western Digital launched the Ultrastar DC, which I think stands for data center, HC530, which stands for I don't know.
Neither do I.
TDMR, I don't know what that stands for.
Two-dimensional magnetic recording.
Okay.
Oh, it's not that 3D hard drive?
Yeah, no, we're not there yet.
14 terabyte hard drive.
Two-dimensional is such a weird thing to...
like X and Y.
The HC probably stands for high capacity.
What's the 530 stand for, though?
I mean, yeah, but the 530 doesn't... I don't think it corresponds.
It was the
with,
time in which
anything.
the branding was finalized.
Yeah.
If only
530
those drives could float.
Yeah. So the two-dimensional magnetic recording thing, that's a concept where you remember the Kenwood?
I thought TDMR meant
wasn't
too
it Kenwood?
dumb, mustn't read.
Do you remember the Kenwood optical drive?
God, we talk about this once every quarter on this podcast.
Truex,
Yeah.
the
Don't forget that one.
CD-ROM drive, right? That drive had a bunch of. It could split the beam into 7 tracks. The idea is to read 7 tracks at once. TDMR does something kind of sort of the same, except it has multiple heads trying to read the same track.
Yeah.
So the idea is if the head's slightly off, or if the track is super narrow, because we keep writing narrower and narrower tracks, trying to get density higher and higher, right? It's harder to lock in. And also, it helps if you had a second track slightly offset. Helps to like increase your signal noise ratio for you're actually trying to read this extremely minute, magnetic fields now, like really tiny domains. Anyway, so it's just another one of those tricks they use to make the density higher, right? Other than that, they're just kind of like your standard. This is the equivalent of like an RE that Western Digital used to make, like your enterprise grade. What's now gold, but now this is sort of like the next step above even their gold drives.
And here I remember 128 meg buffer being huge.
Yeah, this is 512.
512.
Yeah, so half a gig buffer.
That's the first time we've seen
Hard
512,
drive
right?
used to be that big.
Say again, Ken?
That's the first time we've seen 512, right?
That's the first time we've seen 512.
Yeah.
We saw 256 in the newer version of the Reds.
8 terabyte Reds.
And then there was
probably 10
128
terabytes.
in the ones that we have in our array,
Yeah.
the slightly older style, design. But yeah, pretty big buffer, 7,200 RPM drives. Seek times it's a hard drive, like hard drive seek times. But notice the sequential transfer rate rating, 267 meg per second. Now, granted, they didn't say it, but it's the start of the disk, right? Because hard drives slow down as you get to the end of the area. That's faster than 3 gigabit SATA.
Huh.
So now hard drives are finally faster than like that middle generation SATA 2, right?
But only
Still
on the
not
inside.
fast
But only on the
those,
inside, only at the beginning.
Initial J microns with the stuttering.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. So that's just impressive to note that, like, hey, that's pretty fast in a straight line, right? We don't have pricing, but they're sampling like huge. This is for like your crazy cloud providers that just have insane amounts of storage.
Yeah.
But yeah, not using shingle magnetic tricks, not using MAMR yet. That microwave assisted.
So what do you think? Just end of the year we see consumer drives, maybe at least golds.
Well, I mean, I don't know. This is
They're
really
They're going
like
to be $8.99 though.
yeah.
Yeah.
I still have not filled up my 4 terabyte game drive yet.
Sounds like you should get a better internet connection.
Well, I live in Wyoming. Come on.
Josh, 4 terabyte. I mean, your game drive, you can queue 5 or 6 things on Steam, and it'll fill that thing up, man. Come on.
I must be playing the wrong games.
Yeah, you're playing the wrong games.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
Custer's Revenge is only 32K.
Good to see 14 terabytes in a parallel
Worth
magnetic.
every single byte of it, too.
Josh
Exactly.
is still playing Commander Keen.
Oh.
All
right. Is that it?
Yeah, no, that's
Let's do it. Picks of the week. Here we go. So over this past week, my wife and daughter were in Florida at the beach without me. I don't know what that says about me, but take it for what you will. But however, I used this opportunity of free time to completely replace the entertainment center, replace the TV, redo all the stuff, right?
Yeah.
So finally implementing, getting rid of
Oh,
cable,
yeah,
getting rid of all that.
The TV that's been over
TV
there
that's been over there for a while is now gone.
a year, wasn't
It's
it?
like a year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we have more room now.
Well,
I mean, it was a very thin
the,
TV.
The box for the TV is still here. I noticed.
Yeah,
we did get rid of that box.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you get rid of that box later. We got to save the box. But anyway, so as part of it, we were putting things behind cabinet doors as opposed to being out in the open. So we were using IR blasters and repeaters and stuff. And so my universal remote that I've been using was the Logitech Harmony 880 that I legitimately can tell you that I purchased in 2002.
Yeah, that was an old
Right?
remote.
Maybe 2003.
A nice remote.
It's a 14 or 15 year old remote.
Yeah.
And the display was display was fading. It was hard to see anything on it. Whatever, it didn't matter. But I decided, okay, we're upgrading everything else. Let's upgrade this too. So I looked it up, and the latest Harmony is the Elite, which is a remote control with a hub, and it works on your phone as well. So this is the idea now is actually the remote doesn't even talk to the hub through IR. It's all Wi-Fi.
Right.
So you don't. I actually think I'm going to love this because my wife is horrible about, like, in the old Harmony, she'd hit the button for like watch TV and then set it on the couch facing the wrong way.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that like half of the IR signals didn't make it to the devices they're supposed to make it to.
So only
now,
half the stuff would turn on.
now it doesn't matter because she can hit the watch TV button on it.
Yeah.
And it does it on
the
Wi-Fi.
the hub does everything.
The hub and the IR transmitters
blasters.
that you can place inside the units.
Yeah.
Take care of all that for you.
I think there's 2 jacks in the back of the hub that for two IR blasters.
And they're pretty wide.
Yeah.
Angle, and the hub itself blasts out the IR too.
Yep.
So if the hub is like sitting just in front of your TV, you don't have to have one sitting in front of your TV, for example.
And it's actually so powerful that anytime, like, I have had not this version, but I've had the one with the keyboard.
Yeah.
Right. Same hub though. That hub is like up against my wall, the same wall that the TV is flush mounted on.
Yeah.
So the way that the TV actually sees the IR is because that hub is lighting up the whole room.
Yeah.
And it's basically bouncing off of everything else.
Like an IR camera shot of what that does, just how big
flashing
it is.
the room, basically.
You can bring in a pit viper and see how he reacts to all that.
Why do you know this?
Yeah.
Why?
They see
Pit
an IR.
vipers because they see in infrared.
Okay.
They've got 2 little sensors on their nose.
Yeah.
They're called pits.
I didn't know that. Now this is an expensive system. I think the retail price is $349. I went to Best Buy yesterday and it was on sale for $249. So I picked it up there. I went through the setup process. It's a little bit clunky in the setup process. I'm using to control Shield, Denon receiver, the LG TV. I connected it to my Nest so I can control the thermostat that way. Although, whatever.
The future.
But it will
When
control.
you lose it, can you ask it where it is and it'll tell you?
No.
Oh.
No, but you can just shout at Alexa and it'll do all the stuff.
That's true.
You heard
Fair
this.
enough.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, so does it matter if you lose your remote?
No, because you can use the app on your phone and it will do all the same stuff. Right? You set up all the same activities and all
more
that.
time.
So,
that way.
So, quick story. The Echo heard us today, like saying not the word, but it still heard us, and then it responded, and we did our typical no, and then she comes back. It says more stuff, which usually doesn't happen, but she goes, "Sorry, I could not find no."
In the contacts.
It was like,
It's like, yeah.
that's, if you say no, we probably don't want you to talk to us anymore. Anyway.
So I overall, I think I've had it 20 hours or something like that. But the setup was not perfect, but better than what I had to deal with the Logitech 880 and this legacy website, and you had to download this Java-based app. Yeah, and it was rough.
The only thing I don't like about it now is it relies on their servers.
Yes, that's how it does the syncing between like the changes you make on the phone and sending it to the hub.
Yeah, so the hub has to
and one
pull
day their
its
certificate will expire and it will be bricked.
Yeah, like
people
so
will
the
yell
hub,
and
the
they'll
hub
send
has
you a
to
new
pull
one.
its config from Logitech.
Are you telling me that the likelihood of me having this remote for the next 15 years is minimal?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if they discontinue it, then they're going to piss a lot of people off. But
ask your buddy
They've done it
Ujesh.
before.
Science.
Yeah.
Science.
I don't think it has a G logo on it.
That's true. He's the gaming guy.
And I think you can
That's
actually,
true.
I think you can actually add the keyboard to that one in the future if you wanted to.
I don't know. I know that when it connects to the Shield, it connects through Bluetooth and it's emulating a keyboard.
Yeah.
So
that's how it connects to pretty much. Like it'll
Like
connect to
your
an
PC
Apple.
and
It'll
stuff.
do an Apple TV the same way.
got it.
Yeah.
And it'll connect to a ton of stuff. I'm still trying to figure out how perfect I can get it.
It's very flexible, and even at one point I had a Samsung television that had an HDMI 3 input, but like even looking my model up on their app, it only had HDMI 1 and 2, and I wanted to be able to switch directly to 3, and I just like emailed their support, and they're just like, "Oh yeah, we looked it up, we added it to your profile." They just like added the button.
That's pretty cool.
Right? So
That's pretty cool.
and you can't program it the old way.
Right, where you can
can't
like
point another remote at.
yeah.
Like you have to get it
It
from
defaults to this never using infrared.
Yeah.
Yeah. So You can change it, but it
You
defaults that way.
Yeah.
All right, so that's mine. I'll give you some more updates on that as we go through the days and weeks. I'm waiting for my wife to get home tomorrow night to judge did I get the home theater set up to an easy enough state where she's comfortable.
here's
using
what
it.
you
Wife
do.
acceptance factor.
Buy Planet Earth 2 on Blu-ray and pop that in and have it playing
When she comes
in. And she'll be like, "Oh my god, that looks amazing on
That's
that
a-
OLED set."
It's a wonderful
There you
idea.
But now there's a sacrifice. The remote and the way
Yeah.
you watch TV is different.
Yeah,
But,
you
yeah.
can go to that later.
Alan, I think you're up next.
So I think I ticked these guys past 400,000 on their Kickstarter like a week ago.
You donated $400,000.
No.
Jesus.
I just happen to be the guy that
Oh, I
like,
see.
you know, yeah. Anyway, Myst 25th anniversary collection. So I actually own all of these games. I have purchased them. I have like the boxes for every single one of these games.
Mhm,
However, I
mhm.
can't play all these games on like modern stuff anymore because
Sure.
some of this goes way back, right? Even if I had, you know, some of the ones I had before were already remasters, but they were remasters 10 years ago, right? So like, you know, it's kind of tricky
You
to
need
make
to
that
get
stuff.
deep with DOSBox if you wanted to run this stuff.
Yes, yeah, for really deep. It's a 7-game collection that if you go for the bottom tier of the Kickstarter, it's $50. $50 for all 7 Myst games. That's a lot of playtime for $50. And a lot of like puzzles and content and
Right.
stuff. That's a deal.
Okay, do you remember the excitement when Real Mist came
Yeah.
out?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, wow, it looks
insanity.
like all the pre-rendered stuff from Mist. Doesn't it look spectacular? You look at it, it's like, eh.
now the pre-rendered stuff still holds up because I mean that was, you know, like
Is this
pretty-
real mist that I'm seeing right now?
No. That's
No.
that's Riven.
Okay.
That's actually just one of the cutscene videos in Riven. The big deal with the Riven was like that they actually had video transitions,
Okay.
right?
Was
But
it just fades?
yeah, but going through all these games is kind of like a walk through like the progress of
Man.
gaming, right? Just like, you know, you have the original Myst, which there was really not any animation at all, except for looking in the little box video animation of a book that's open on,
Right.
on a thing, right? Which was like barely anything on the screen. And at the time, that was still filling up the whole CD-ROM that game came on, and that was another big deal, right? Wasn't that like one of the first CD-ROM games or something, you know?
I think so.
Yeah. So you go from that, and you can, as you progress through these different titles, you're progressing through like the games just the game engines got more and more advanced, and the graphics got better and better and stuff like that. But it's all the same kind of, you know, universe
Right.
of, you know,
Yeah.
all these things, right? However, they do have higher tiers. And they will give you like, it's like for another $100 you get like a Myst book box. Like there's DVDs of the game. I don't know who Josh can install via DVD basically.
Yeah.
But you'll get digital downloads and like the physical versions of the games, but they come in a Myst book box. It's like a recreation of the Myst book. Like
Okay. Yeah.
and then if you pledge some more, that book will have a built-in computer with an LCD screen,
Raspberry Pi.
and when you open the book, it will have the animations
That's
of where
pretty
the
cool.
places where you were going to link to.
Sure.
Looping,
Yeah.
right?
All right.
So this is what you spent $400,000 on?
Yeah, it was a really expensive Myst book, really expensive. And then if you want to go super crazy, like there's, you get like,
I don't.
yeah, I mean, there's crazy high tiers where you're getting objects that they made that are actual objects from within the game, and they're actually like making them and sending them to you. Anyway, it's cool if you're a fan of the series, and if you're a guy like me that had already owned these things for like decades.
Why not buy them again?
This to me is worth it. Like
That's
I'll
all that
spend
matters.
$50 to be able to play all these things and have them supported on
Fair
like
enough.
Windows 10 and modern hardware. Yeah.
Jeremy, what do you got for me?
Well, today's episode in Baffling Text was a McAfee engineer who finally broke down and said, well, shit, I've never seen that before in encryption. But as part of that, I had to make a brand new encryption recovery disk. And of course, just loaded up Rufus, and away I went and did it. And suddenly realized we've never actually mentioned Rufus as a pick on the podcast.
We have. I made it a pick like years ago.
I searched and it wasn't there.
Huh.
I'm telling you, I know I did it as a pick.
Nah,
I had to.
I trust Jeremy
it
more
must
than
have been
you.
one of them lost episodes.
Maybe.
But
Probably.
it's just one of those tools that you never think about telling anyone about because you've been using it for damn ever. And it's just small and innocuous and one of the best ways to make a bloody boot disk of any description from an ISO or just about anything else you want.
Yeah.
Remember how awful this used to be? Like,
Oh, it used
to be
download the
frustrating.
Windows boot floppy and format your USB drive in a special way. God,
Yeah.
such a steaming pile of crap. And then, like,
used to have to
Rufus
use
was
what
like the
this part
first
was for.
really easy to use tool for any ISO.
You used to have to use WinImage.
Yeah, it's ugh.
It's actually kind of interesting.
Ghostery, like all the crap we've gone through over the years dealing with images. And this is just friggin' easy.
And this tool it's also very creative for just make a DOS bootable USB drive.
Yeah.
Like you want to do firmware updates from the command prompt, you don't even need
Done.
you don't even need the image. You just like fire up this tool and it has like the I forget what version. It's not Microsoft.
It's
obviously.
FreeDOS, I think.
I
That's like
remember having
FreeDOS.
to like
That's FreeDOS.
supply the boot drive to it though.
You don't have to do that anymore.
I know, but I used to download this or something like this and be like, oh, no, I gotta go someplace and find like
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
MS DOS image
Yep.
with which to point it to. Please, Lord, just make this an easy one-step process.
Yeah.
Good.
And now
Just
it is and has
part,
been for a long
select,
time.
Finally.
You know.
Disk 1, create partition primary, select partition
good
1
God.
active.
Yeah, you're
Done.
giving me PTSD. Stop. Jesus.
And it's actually like smart enough to look, like if you're writing a Linux ISO, it's smart enough to like look in and figure out like potential incompatibilities with like the kernel version it's using and stuff like that. Don't just like grab the right stuff and be like, okay, there you go, done.
Now, does this do the hybrid GPT and MBT?
Yes.
It can.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
That stuff is magic.
But if you
It
want
takes you a couple of clicks, but
But if you want a UEFI specific install, there's a drop down. You actually have to choose like
Yeah, you could choose.
GPT UEFI only.
Yeah.
It's like
Right.
the
Dude,
bottom
it's all
option.
PFM. It's all PFM to me.
But the
But it will do MBR for either one.
right, but there's some new stuff with, I don't know how new it is. I know with the Debian Live Boot system, it will build you a image that it has an MBR, a standard DOS boot label,
Right.
or disk label. It also has a GPT file system or partition table on it.
Yeah.
And the MBR indexes the first partition into the actual GPT ISO image. So
Okay, they're pointing them at the same place.
they point at the same place, so it'll boot on modern and legacy devices at the same time.
I think this will do that trick. However, if you put a Windows installer ISO on there and you want a UEFI,
I don't think that
specific-
works with Windows.
or if you want you want it to make a GPT partition from within Windows setup, right? You have to force it to do only the GPT mode. Otherwise, it's something like the Windows installer sees how it booted.
Right.
Like, and
Yeah,
it's one of those tricks.
That
if
trick
you're
only
lucky
works
enough,
for,
you can just disable all that in your motherboard, so it's not even an option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And away you go.
Anyway, that's a great tool.
Josh, last, maybe least, we'll see.
Least is certainly a given when it comes to dealing with me.
Mm-hmm.
Least amount of hair, least amount of personality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're not telling me anything.
Shall
new.
we go on?
Let's go with the pick.
Okay. It's funny. I'd picked this before I realized that we were actually going to talk about it. We've been looking for a good competitor for the 960 Evo and 960 Pro, and we finally have it. They're on sale, and they're actually slightly below MSRP, the WD Black. The 500 gig, I believe, or 512. I mean, that's, 229 is, no, wait, what?
160.
Scroll over to the, for the 256.
Oh,
no,
you're-
it's
you're not
512.
the
How
512
much is it?
selected.
Scroll over there.
What do you want in a pick,
169.
Josh?
I can't. It's 169.
Which one do you want?
Okay, I'm sorry. You know what? I'm really confused.
Yeah.
Yeah. but
256
no,
is 89.99.
these are inexpensive drives.
These-
Now, this is the first generation. It's not the one that Alan talked about.
Yeah.
I got confused. But still, for that price, they're pretty good
Although
little
I will say
products.
this new egg listing is awfully confusing.
Yeah, what's the new one called?
The Western Digital WD Black, which
That's
is
printed on the label of this SSD.
As long as you pick the 2D
Yeah.
one, not the 3D one.
Yeah. So
God.
this just
The label
points,
looks clearly different.
this
So
just
buy the
points out.
SanDisk one so you know which one you're getting.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not for sale yet.
This points out the confusion we were talking about earlier.
That's ridiculous.
I'm so confused. It's strange because, I'm looking at the one that I looked at, and
Mhm.
it's the 500 gig NVMe for $229.
That should be the newer one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't
Because
think-
Western Digital is
I don't
spelled
know
out
what.
and then WD Black.
Let me
I
put
know.
the link
It's just
of
silly.
the one that I am looking at in our little
Ryan
chatter
clicked your
thing.
link.
I clicked the link.
Yeah.
Add
Click
new egg.
the link.
I can't click that one from where I'm at anyway. Okay, sure. What am I looking at here? This is WD Black NVMe 2 2280 500 gig, $229. So why would I
Yeah,
want that one?
that's-
It's $40 more, $60 more.
Yeah, but it's the
This
much
is 3D
faster
one.
one. The
Oh.
new,
Yeah,
new
it's
and
the new one.
improved.
Oh, I see. Okay.
The one we just talked
Got
about.
it.
Yeah.
Got it. I'll do a good search for it. I'm sure I'll find it.
Sure you will.
And speaking of, stumping the McAfee, don't use a Cronus True Image that comes with your Western Digital SSD on an
See
encrypted
these
hard drive.
logos?
It
Well,
goes badly.
Yeah, you can't. Those tools, those cloning tools, generally don't work
Show
right
this. Show this for me real fast. I just searched Western Digital WD Black.
on. Uh huh.
Yeah, let's see. I guess some hard drives.
You're getting the hard drives.
Type in NVMe
No,
afterwards.
this is fun.
Yeah.
Oh wait, hold on. We're getting close. Here it is.
Which one is?
Oh, that's the old one.
No, this is it.
That's the new, all new.
So, you want an easier
Oh
way
wait,
to figure?
right here. 2D NAND, 3D NAND.
Right.
There's a
3D
button right
NAND.
on it.
Somebody
Do you want
click
an
the
easier way to
three
figure it out?
NAND button.
You want a slightly easier way?
Not really.
Seriously, these are under the same SKUs for the 2D and the 3D versions.
You are correct, sir.
Well, I mean, it does differentiate it.
Well, no, but
No,
here's,
how many people know what the hell that means?
here's the thing: if it's a
3 is
512
bigger
gig
than
model,
2.
it's the old one.
Yeah.
If it's a
It's a
500 gig
500.
model, it's the new one,
Yeah, I got it.
right? It's
All new.
anyway.
If only we could have Alex
big
come
tech.
in, and every time we have a new product come in, just comes in and says,
The all new.
the all new.
Yeah.
Look at that fancy video.
It's
Fancy.
fancy. It's
Built
built for greatness.
All
Wow.
for greatness.
All right.
Hear that?
That's it. We're done.
Done.
Thanks everybody for joining us. PCPro.com/podcast, the URL you can go to for show notes, links, all the stories we discussed, etc. Obviously, you want to go to joshtech.com and order your
And
Josh
buy.
Tech t-shirt
Pull out your wallets.
And other.
with Josh Walrus on it, or your mug. We did get 2 more Patreons in here. It's not the same without Josh Walrath. My name is Clay. Is a new patron who pledged $3.
I like it.
Thank you, Clay. And then this one, Jesus.
Oh boy.
It's the end of the show, right? Nobody listens this far in.
Oh god.
No.
This didn't come from me.
Darth Malventano says,
Spit it out.
I hear Ryan craves tickle pickles. So there you go.
Oh, dear Lord.
It's a pledge for $5. So I said that out loud for
It's worth
$5
every
everybody.
penny.
That was worth it. Worth it. That was worth it.
I need to drink some more of this bourbon. Anyway, like I said, PCPro.com/podcast. Thanks everybody for joining us. We'll be back next week. Thanks everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Pickle Pickle's not a bad shirt.
The first time I ever
I'm not
heard
sure
the
what graphic
tickle,
you
the
wanna
pickle
put on
tickle
that.
was League of Their Own.
Like tickle pickles coming out.
Guy, the scout, who's like, I'll go home, I'll eat a dinner, give the wife a little pickle tickle, and then I'm back on the road.
Oh man.
Oh, that's funny.
All right. No late show tonight, guys. We're done here. We're clearing out. We'll see you next week. Bye, guys. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for watching.
See ya.
You need to record the billboard.
Oh.